What is up, everybody? Renfail here, and we have been doing a little bit of Kingdom Come Deliverance here as we wind down 2024 and get into 2025, preparing for the great adventure that awaits us when Kingdom Come Deliverance II drops on February 4th, 2025. It's going to be one of the main games we're playing this year. It is the first big release that I plan on playing in the new year. We're going to be following that up with Avowed in February as well. But in the meantime, throughout the month of January, I'm working on a Kingdom Come Deliverance playthrough, which begs the question, should you play this game before KCD2 launches in February? Um, that's a fun one to answer because obviously, the completionist, version of me would say, yes, you must play this game before the second one comes out. But the reality is that you really don't have to if you don't want to, because there are lots of playthroughs that you could go watch to get the story and everything else. But I would argue that you should always play um, if there is a first game in a series, you should always play that first game before the sequel comes out. If you get a chance to, if you have the time to, if only to familiarize yourself with all of the controls for that game. Because with the case of Kingdom Come Deliverance, it is quite a complex game, and understanding what's going on um, and learning the controls is going to be to your benefit, especially when it comes to the combat in this game, because there are two specific things that are quite challenging in this game. One of which is the use of the bow, because when you go to fire the bow, you have to deal with the weave, as you notice this right here, which can make it tricky when you're getting used to learning how to navigate that and actually hit your targets. And also the complex nature of swordplay in this game when you get into any combat scenarios where you have the different combat zones. So you've seen how the combat zones work in this game, where you have up, left, right, down, down, essentially. So it looks like a standing man, a stick figure man, where you've got basically one up and then the arms and then the legs, with then thrusting. And then you've got your different weapon types, and learning how to navigate all of that can be quite challenging. But also understanding at the core of this game um, everything that goes into making up Henry and the character. So one of the cool things that they're doing with Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 is essentially you're picking up right where this game leaves off. And so Henry already has an assumed main level, and he's already got an assumed set of general stats at the beginning of Kingdom Come Deliverance 2. But to understand how all of these stats work, whether it's your main stats like strength, agility, vitality, speech, charisma, visibility, all this stuff, or your combat stats such as this, or your skills or your buffs and all these other things, because it's also going down in here into your main level and understanding, oh, these are the different perks that I could have taken to level up my character. Understanding how all these perks work is a bonus to getting ready for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because you'll understand a little bit more about how all of these systems work. Now, in my case, I'm someone who I've never actually done a full playthrough of this game. When I first tried this game, and it's nighttime right now, the first time I tried this game was several years ago, and I didn't have a chance to do a full clear of the game because of life and other things. This was before I was doing full-time content creation. And so I never got a chance to do a full clear. So this has been the perfect opportunity for me to jump into the game and go, hey, I don't actually understand all of the bits and pieces of this game. I want to know more about the story. I kind of understand the gist of the story, and I've watched other people's playthroughs, so I do kind of understand the overall story between Hans and I'm right here, lady. Right here. Relax. Oh, I have my sword out. I should probably put that away. She's probably scared of me. But understanding things like, how does the combat system work? How does hunting work? Like, how does Mutt work? Because Mutt is really cool because he shows up as a companion in this game, but they've also stated that the new game is going to be much more. It's not going to be just you as Henry with your sidekick, your dog essentially. You're also going to have characters like Hans and other characters, and they've talked about how in Kingdom Come Deliverance 2 you're going to be working with more people, and it's going to be more like, I believe what I've heard in some of the promotional material is that it's going to be a little bit more like Red Dead Redemption 2, where you essentially have your base camp and you have Henry, but then you have companions that you're going to be doing quests with. And you do some of that here in this game, especially with Hans. But there's going to be more of that in the second game because the stakes are higher. And so one of the things I wanted to do for my own personal benefit was to come in and get an understanding of how Henry is as a human being within the scope of the game, and his journey from the peasant to where he ends up, which is sort of like, he's in the service of, a noble, and that leads to a certain amount of prestige and having access to, a horse and weapons and livery and things that he wouldn't necessarily have had access to as just a blacksmith's son. And that's something where I don't think if you hadn't played the game, if you hadn't played the first game, I don't think that's not going to have as much of an impact on you from a personal level as it does if you've actually played through the story. And so if you can ask my opinion from the perspective of just playing the game as a first-time gamer, I think that it's very much worthwhile to do if you have the time. I mean, this is some of a bigger game to get through, and not everybody is going to have the time to play through Kingdom Come Deliverance 1 before the second game drops. Quick commercial break, everyone, to celebrate and give thanks to all of these amazing people who keep me on the air full time. Really appreciate the support. All you got to do is join as a member. You get access to private videos. You can also do super thanks on any upload or super chats and stickers on any live stream or premiere you see. And beyond that, don't forget we're multi-streaming over on Twitch now, so you can support over there as well. Thanks so much to everybody. Let's get back to the video at hand. But I personally really appreciate the journey of going from nobody to somebody. And I've got a similar video I'm going to be doing here later in the week, talking about how in Kingdom Come Deliverance, more than any other game, it's more about Henry's skills than it is about your skills as a player. Because you can be the best Twitch-based gamer in the world and have the fastest, reaction times and everything else. But if Henry sucks at the bow or the sword, it doesn't matter how fast you're going to be tapping those buttons or how good your reaction times are. You're just not going to be very good at the game because Henry's not very good at the game. And that's something that I think is a learning curve which everybody is going to need to get used to before they go into Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, because this is one of those games where there's not a difficulty slider. And I traditionally don't play a lot of games without difficulty sliders because I do like having a story mode. But I do know that for Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, they've talked a little bit about how with the combat in particular, it's already assumed that you have like certain abilities like the riposte and etc., so that you're not having to learn your way up from scratch at the beginning of the game. It's assumed that Henry already has a certain amount of knowledge from having played through the first game's story, so that when you start the second game, you already have those skills and those abilities, so you're not just a normal little like lowly peasant blacksmith kid anymore. You're actually somebody who has spent some time in the field, and I think that that's a pretty cool journey. I personally really want to experience that, so that's one of the reasons why, since I've never done a full playthrough of the first game, I'm currently working my way through here in we're not quite in January yet, but as I said, we've started the game now. We just did our third stream today. Right before I actually recorded this video, I finished up the third stream, and I'll be continuing to play this game throughout the month of January alongside the Mass Effect series. So if you want to see more, don't forget daily streams on YouTube and Twitch, typically starting around 6 or 7 a.m. Central Time. So hopefully I'll see you tomorrow as I continue to, sort of bludgeon my way through learning how to play Henry and get good at everything, because it's a journey. It's a struggle. I'm looking forward to it. I'll see you guys in the next one. Stay safe. Happy gaming.